is. I think it goes back to just eating your house.
We cannot eat in our house all the time. Me, I have this amala. I used to go and buy amala with ewedu and orishirishi and all because my mind is just, it's bugging. I'm going like, oh my God. So is it possible?
But let me say this. You see, there are restaurants that that if you take anything,
you react.
That restaurant, if you take anything and there's anything wrong with you, you can actually hold them responsible.
Okay.
Yeah. If I go to Hilton, for instance, and I take any food there and I come out with any reaction, I want to see what it is that I've taken. And if it's proved that Hilton poisoned the food, I'll maintain an action against them. Or my family will maintain an action against them. If I go to any mama put on the street that is not known, and you take anything, you can't even go back. You may not even see that woman who sells the food to you.
True.
Okay.
So you have to know, and at least within the integrity of the hotel, of the restaurant you patronize. Same with the type of club you patronize, or where you go for your drinks. So it's not just anywhere you go for tea, or you buy suya, or you buy anything. You need to know the integrity of such a place before you settle down to eat. And as an adult, of course, I take responsibility for whatever I do, so I have to make good choices for myself.
Yeah.
I will not expect that if I go to a restaurant, like I wouldn't want to mention any restaurant, but a restaurant of note, and I eat food from there, and I come back or immediately I take that food, like you took palm wine, and you started feeling somehow, I'll hold them responsible. In fact, I'll call police immediately. But if it's not a restaurant like anywhere on the roadside, it could even be poisoned by the roadside infection or anything. So you have to know, and you have to educate your children or your wards or your adult children on where to eat and where not to eat.
Thank
I
you.
think
I
that's
think
the
that puts
bottom
that
line.
in perspective because
Yes.
most of the
Can't do
places
without
we eat are
Yes.
places we've known for years,
Yes.
and we've been eating there because
Yeah.
this Amala has been there for over 10 years, if I can.
All right, it's good to know, but I'd like to now find out, maybe first from the ladies. We talked about children parties and all of that. Sometimes our adult children go out on their own. I recall what my father used to do then. Whenever you step in from wherever you're going to, greeting him,
You will know.
you try to double it. He's raising you up to take a hug. And things that he will say, will really make you funny. He said, "Where did you go to? I don't like your smell." Because he knows that's not the smell you went out with. So if you went to hang out where people smoked, he will perceive it from your hair, your clothes, as he's hugging you.
Yeah.
And he will warn you. He will say, "Remember, passive smoking is worse than the direct person."
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know, that's a sign, showing that I have been exposed to smoking. I don't smoke. So but he saw the fact that I was around smokers and warned me against it. How do I hug a child who's eating a cookie? If is it hugging, how do I spot a child who has been, taking something that is laced?
It's hard.
It's very hard.
It's very, very hard. And this is where I'll beg to differ with the rest of us, although, of course, we're all free to hold our opinions. Yes, these things have been with us forever, but there's a significant spike now.
True.
Social media is not just drawing our awareness to its existence. Social media is exposing people who would ordinarily never have even considered it to start doing it.
Yeah.
The world as a whole is more depraved now than it has ever been in every facet. In every facet. There are things that happen that would ordinarily not occur to somebody to do until they notice that, this my peer is doing it, this my peer, this my peer, this my peer, let me try it too. And that is what social media has done. Now, what we are failing to recognize is that in the larger picture, you see, I used to, as a younger person, I guess I would say I was more naive, I used to be upset at how harsh punishment was for drug peddlers or pushers, because I thought all drugs did was make you feel good and make you feel high. No, drugs push violent crime.
Yeah.
Drugs spike prostitution. Drugs help every kind of vice known to man to flourish.
Yeah.
You see these people arming themselves, roaming around, killing people anyhow.
Yeah.
If you take if you take them and subject them to blood tests, I don't think you'll be able to find one person who is not under the influence of some kind of substance. And that is the bigger picture. Crime as a whole in our country has spiked as a result of drug use. In the military era, you were found drug peddling, it was the death sentence. In this civilian democratic era, I don't know what they do to the people who peddle the drugs, because these are the people actually destroying our society. But they jail them quietly. We don't really know what's going on. It's all quiet. The NDLEA person just spoke about war against drug abuse. I'm hearing it for the first time.
Honestly.
So there isn't enough awareness about it.
Right,
Back then, there would be billboards, network news, you put it on, you see that this person has been executed. So it sent home a message.
True.
You know, so I'm not suggesting that the death sentence be returned, but whatever measures are being taken against drug peddlers should be actively and widely publicized.
And when it's
for
done,
whatever
we should see the people.
Exactly.
So
We should know them. We should know
There
their
should not be
names.
sacred cows.
There should not be sacred cows.
Yes.
We know that it's the elite that have the access to do these things.
Yeah.
Why is it that we get hold of the small person, but it never gets traced back to the kingpin?
All right, so I hope, Barrister Haruna, you're listening, and that's actually for you. And I'm going to add one more to it. Somebody here says, good morning, my name is Prince Chooks from Abuja. I think the government, that's the NDLEA, should stop some local chemists and pharmacies from selling hard drugs like tramadol, and with it, it will reduce the numbers of drug abuse in our country. So I'll roll all this to you. One, Devon wants you to make public the punishment of the peddlers, and then Chooks wants you to also, bar the local chemists from selling hard drugs.
Yes, let me start from the one from Chooks. Chooks said we should ban them. Well, the power to do that, we regulate. We actually control so many of these pharmaceutical community pharmacies. We regulate patent medicine dealers, regulating in the sense that we control the type of drugs sold on their counters and all those things. But to ban them, it is not NDLA's power. It's not within the power of NDLA to do that. It's actually Federal Ministry of Health or any other. They gave license to those ones qualified to sell, and NAFDAC also control them. So what we do is to control that illicit drugs or controlled drugs are not sold. And those ones that should be sold with prescription. So that's the sort of thing we do there. We cannot ban outrightly. It's not within the power of NDLA to do that. On the issue of the other one mentioned, that we should make public the type of punishment given out to drug peddlers. Yes, indeed, we have records of people who have been convicted. But the point there is, when a criminal justice action starts today, for instance, somebody is arrested today, you will not see that tomorrow he or she will be jailed immediately. It will take a while. Sometimes it takes about 2 to 3 years. So you may not see the record immediately of those people that have been jailed. You may see the record of arrest and seizures being made by NDLA. But to date, if I give you statistics of the number of people we have convicted in the last 4 or 5 years, we have about 12,000 convicts already. And out of these 12,000, we have barons. Barons are those ones who are real drug distributors. They're the ones who are the base of everything we're talking about. If you look at the pyramid, it's an inverted pyramid where you have the baron at the base, and you have agents, and then the agents have distributors. So in as much as we go after the distributors and those ones in parties that you see them handling and using drugs, we also trace down the inverted pyramid to the baron. And to date, we have about 90 barons in our net, and some of them have been convicted as well. So indeed, because the conviction comes in trickles, we will not be recording them and saying, oh, we have convicted this, we have convicted that. But it does come out in our reports on a weekly basis how many people we have convicted in a particular week. If you go through weekly review by NDLA, you would have seen that so many people have been convicted of these drugs. So we don't do any quiet thing. Death penalty is not something we want to advocate, and I'm glad you said so. We wouldn't want to advocate death penalty. But what we have now serves as a very good deterrent. For instance, somebody could be convicted to go to jail for 15 years, for 7 years, or more than that, and the property or the assets of such an individual gotten through drug sales or drug business will also be forfeited to the federal government and sold. So there's nothing more than decapitating an individual by taking away the assets which he has acquired by reason of that illicit trade. So in the last 2 to 3 years, so many properties, landed properties, high-valued properties have been taken from drug barons and sold.
All right.
Really?